Our trip to our next destination in Tanzania is part of our Africa story. When we arrive at Governor's Airstrip, we see a plane near the runway with a bent prop. It hit a topi on the arrival at 5:40 p.m. last evening. We talked with two passengers who were on board, and it was a frightening experience. We fly to McGee and are met by coastal transportation that takes us by van to the border crossing. The crossing is chaotic and crowded, but we get through passport control without incident. We travel by van in a caravan of two vans and a car to Tarim Airstrip. We turn onto a road that is little more than a cow path with deep vegetation on both sides of the van. It hardly looks like a road to anywhere other than a possible mugging. The airstrip is a grass runway that turns out to be quite rough. We find out that one of the passengers is our pilot. The flight out, once airborne, is nice as we fly over the Great Rift Valley. That's quite an impressive sight from the air. Our driver and guide for Tanzania, Jimmy, shown here, meets us with box lunches when we land. The first thing we notice is Tanzania, here east of Lake Victoria, is hotter and drier than the Maasai Preserve we left this morning. The roads in Tanzania are badly washboarded gravel. We have a long drive this afternoon to Balangeti tinted chalets. The video that follows will give you an idea of what cross-country travel on roads like these is like. One of the simple pleasures of this place is the sound of the cacao bird we hear each night. It's hypnotic and a wonderfully exotic sound. One of my desires was to see a lion feeding, which we fulfilled on our first full day in Tanzania. The video that follows shows a few scenes we captured of our drives in Tanzania.
Right here. Oh, hello. Oh, is that a sore on the side of his head?
I guess I need to go find me an old thorny bush for my back.
I wondered what those things would be good for.
Yeah, that's what they're good for. Oh, look at that. Huh.
Put the young ones in the middle. Circle the wagon.
Recently.
Oh, look, he's getting braver. Close to it. I don't think.
Tom's bucket list was to see a cheetah catch a prey. We did not see this, but we saw a cheetah up close hunting that crossed the road in front of our Land Rover. Later, we saw a cheetah over a kill. Jimmy tells us that cheetahs are excellent hunters, but they are not large enough to defend their prey. Most of the animals they kill are eaten by other, larger predators. In addition to numerous lions and leopards and a few cheetah, we also see one serval, a small member of the cat family. As the same suborder of carnivores as the cats, we saw additional feline form carnivores, including the East African silverback jackal, the spotted hyena, the common dwarf mongoose, and the banded mongoose. As mentioned earlier, we stay 2 nights on the rim of Ngorongoro crater at Serena Safari Lodge. This is the only place we stay where we do not need to be escorted to our tent. The crater is about 2,000 deep and was formed by a collapsed volcano some 3 million years ago. The weather is markedly cooler at the higher elevation of the rim than the surrounding land. The crater is a World Heritage Site and a unique ecosystem. Some animals, like the giraffe, are not present inside the crater because they could not climb the steep outer slopes of the crater.
Okay, it's September 11th, Sunday, and this is the view from our balcony.
6 o'clock.
It's 6 p.m. Serena Lodge on the Ngorongoro crater. So it's very cool. Probably in the 60s. Just beautiful sight. You can see across the crater, which it's the largest intact caldera in the world.
During our stay at the lodge, we enjoy entertainment by Maasai showing traditional dance and music. Tomorrow's drive through the crater is disappointing. Fewer animals sighted here than in the Masai Mara Preserve. We saw many birds on this trip that were both beautiful and exotic. One of the first birds that caught our attention is the lilac-breasted roller bird. They are agile in flight and they will roll from one side to the other at times, looking like they're tumbling in their flight. The bare-faced go-away bird gets its name from its noisy call, which sounds like it's saying, "Go away." The gray-crowned cranes are one of the more exotic birds we photographed. The little red and yellow barbet is delightful. Sharon thought it looked like a taxi cab. The Kori bustard is thought to be the heaviest bird capable of flight. These 3 yellow-colored lovebirds made for a beautiful picture arrayed together. The superb starling is aptly named for its beautiful plumage. The white-headed buffalo weaver gets its name from staying near caped buffalo herds. And last in this sequence is the silvery-cheeked hornbill. Note the large casque over the bill. The first bird of prey that caught our attention was the African fish eagle and its similarity to the American bald eagle. Another eagle we saw was the African crowned eagle, shown here. This is the African harrier hawk. The last raptor image I captured was the long-crested eagle. This wading bird is called a hammerkop. The most notable feature of this bird is its huge nest that weighs over 100 pounds and can support a man's weight. These are guinea fowl, and this is the yellow-necked spur fowl. One of the most beautiful birds to my eye is the saddle-billed stork. This is an open-beaked stork. Here we see a large flock of pink-backed pelicans. This is the blacksmith lapwing. The only vulture image I caught was of the lappet-faced vulture. There are many species of vulture on the Serengeti, and they have a pecking order of which comes first. Last, here is a male ostrich. He was chasing a female across the Serengeti. Some more shots of the diversity of wildlife, starting off with the ominous reptiles. This, of course, is the Nile crocodile. They get nearly twice the size of alligators, reaching 1,700 pounds in weight and over 20 feet long. We saw one large snake, a rock python, sleeping off a meal in a tree. The last snake is one we nearly ran over entering swallow camp, the puppet adder. It's the most dangerous snake in Africa. One of the books I read prior to the trip recounts the death of the author's son from a puppet adder bite. On to more pleasant animals are the apes. By far the most common encountered is the baboon. Next is a velvet monkey. The final shot is one of my favorites of a blue monkey. The baobab tree is one of the most picturesque and unusual in Africa. Jimmy told us the legend of how the baobab tree came to be. First, the tree asks God for a long life, which he grants, with some living nearly 3,000 years. Then it asks for fruit, which God also grants. Then it asks for thorns, and God also gave it thorns. But then God turns it and plants it upside down so it can't bother him again. The next image is taken of us besides a large baobab tree. It shows how large they can be. We arrive around 6:30 p.m. from the long drive from Ngorongoro Crater to cold towels with eucalyptus. We listen to the orientation, viewing the water hole that's out front of the camp. Animals at the watering hole include elephants, greater kudu, dik-dik, and velvet monkeys, who bomb us with tamarind seeds from above. It's a beautiful setting, and it's a great time to visit Tarangire National Preserve because it's the height of the dry season, drawing many animals to the watering hole. This is a photograph of our tinted chalet beside a baobab tree. The outside shower enclosure is to the left of the chalet. We have a few minutes to freshen up before the sundowner at 7 p.m. You can see the acacia trees around the watering hole behind us, and if you look closely, some of the game, including the elephants and greater kudu. We have a magical evening in this beautiful and romantic place. First, Jeanette and Sharon see a leopard at the watering hole. The full harvest moon rises over the watering hole. The light on the trees is from a fire pit where we have cocktails with the 10 other guests tonight. This is a shot of Black Mountain in the background and elephants in the foreground. We estimated there were 200 to 400 elephants visible from this one spot. The next two slides show pictures of open-hooved ungulates. First is the Coke's hartebeest. This is the common eland, the common waterbuck. Each of these animals has unique herd characteristics. The most common one is a herd of females and their young with one dominant buck. The other males herd together in a bachelor herd. This is the smallest ungulate, the dik-dik. They are only 12 to 16 inches tall at the shoulder. This is a shot of some African camel. We only saw them once near Ngorongoro crater. Of course, the widely spread and commonly seen giraffe. These are Grant's gazelles. And the last slide here is of the greater kudu. Continuing with the ungulates is the largest of these, the hippopotamus. Next is the impala. They can leap 33 feet in a single bound. The reed buck. Next is the relatively small steenbok. This is a shot of a mixed herd of Thompson's gazelles. They're the fourth fastest land animal. The topi. Another shot of a waterbuck. And the animal we came to see migrate, the wildebeest. And their companion in the migration, the zebra. And finally, a small herd of caped or African water buffalo. This is a picture of Sharon on the couch below the baobab tree on the deck of our chalet. The showers are outside in an enclosure adjacent to the chalet. It sounds more rustic than it was. It was a wonderful feeling to shower outside in this setting. This is a view from our room looking out on the deck and the lounge shown in the previous slide. This was our most beautiful room we stayed in the trip. After supper one night, before we turned in, we listened to lions roar in the distance. Our host tells us this is a male and he is warning other males to stay away from his territory. I thought I would include this poem that was left for us at Swallow Camp because it touches on many of the things we experienced. It's called The Call of Africa. When you've acquired a taste for dust, the scent of the first rains, you're hooked for life on Africa, and you will not be right again. Till you watch the setting moon and hear the jackals bark, and you know they're around you, waiting in the dark. When you long to see the elephants, or hear the kekel's song, when the moonrise sets, your blood on fire, you've been away too long. It's time to cut the traces loose and let your heart go free. Beyond the far horizon where the spirit yearns to be. Since you've touched the open sky, you learn to love the rustling grass, the wild fish eagles cry. You'll always hunger for the bush, for the lion's rasping roar, to camp at last beneath the star and be at peace once more. This sunrise picture taken at Swallow Camp is a beautiful backdrop for the last memory of our trip. We drive from Swallow to Arusha, then fly to Nairobi, relax for a few hours at Serena Lodge, then we catch a night flight back to London. In the morning at Terminal 5, we check into a day room at Sofitel and rest before our final flight home. We walk back to the terminal and have a breakfast at Carluccio's. What a wonderful feeling comes over me this morning. It's a youthful exhilaration and happiness. It feels like there's no place I can go where I won't be happy with Sharon at my side. This journey and adventure is nearly over, and it has been everything I wanted. But the enduring memory are of the joys and experiencing such beauty and wonder and awe with Sharon, and being able to share these memories for the rest of our lives.